This is an update to an older case. So on March 2nd, 2023, police were called to a home in Conway. They were called to the home in reference to a baby being dropped. Now, they were en route to the home whenever they got a call saying that the mom and dad had left the home and were taking the baby to Baptist Hospital in Conway. So the police turned around, went to Baptist Hospital in Conway. They were able to find the mom and the baby. They got the story from the mom when they were like, hey, what happened? Mom said that she was at work when she got a call from her husband saying that he was feeding the baby in a recliner. He got up from the recliner to put the baby in a swing that was just a few feet away, and the baby slipped and landed on its head on the cement floor. Of course, when police talked to the father, David Dickens, he gave the same story because it was his story. Because the mom, she wasn't even there. She was at work. So all she knew was what David had told her. When a CT scan was done on the child, they found a significant fracture to the baby's skull. And so the baby was transported to Arkansas Children's Hospital. Less than 6 hours after the 911 call, the baby was pronounced dead. While investigating this particular incident and death of this child, police were able to find that a few months before this child was injured, there was another child that was injured significantly in the home. The story that was given at that time was that Mr. David Dickens was babysitting the children, not babysitting, they were his kids, but he was watching his kids. And he was walking while holding one of them, and they both fell. I did see pictures at the time, and that child had some horrific injuries and did have to be hospitalized due to those injuries. So the mom was interviewed a second time, and during the second interview, the mom told police that she was working as a nurse at the hospital when she received a call from David Dickens, but she didn't pick up the phone because she was about to get off work. So instead of talking to David Dickens, she texted him like, hey, what's up? And he told her that the baby had been dropped and was injured. According to the mom, she told David Dickens to call 911. She grabbed her stuff and she headed home. When she got home, David Dickens was sitting in his recliner holding the baby, and the baby's head was swollen and misshapen. Now, according to David Dickens, when he talked to police, he told police that he called 911, but then he hung up before the call actually went through. I would believe that he just didn't call. Then he called the mother of the child, and she told him to call 911, so he called 911 at that point in time. So the way that David Dickens said that he fell, he said that he had been feeding the baby. He wanted to move the baby to the swing, and he put his foot on the floor. Then when he went to stand up, his foot slipped out from underneath him. Honestly, if you think about it, I don't know. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I don't think it makes any sense. He said that the baby fell directly on its head, their head, and that he picked the baby up, tried to comfort the baby by rubbing the baby's head and belly, the head that it just fell on. Please did note that throughout his interview, Mr. Dickens kept calling this baby, this 6-week-old baby, and baby, but not calling the child by its name. He said things like, I killed a kid, I killed him. He was concerned about what people would think, knowing that his baby had died. Mr. Dickens said as soon as they got home from the hospital, they moved all of the baby items from the living room into another bedroom so they didn't have to look at it, which maybe that's just how people deal with grief, but the rest of it, according to police, they spoke to the doctors at Arkansas Children's Hospital, and it wasn't just that the baby had this fracture, this skull fracture. The baby had extensive cranial injuries with brain matter being outside of the cranial area. But the baby also had rib fractures that were older. They were healing already. So the baby had already been harmed before this incident happened. Now, David Dickens was arrested and charged with capital murder in the death of this baby. I believe it was yesterday that David Dickens accepted a plea deal. He pled guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for 300 months in the Arkansas Department of Corrections. So that comes out to 25 years. He'll be out in no time. I just hope people keep their kids away from him.